What is going on, Multiversers? Welcome back to the channel. We got a ton of topics to go over in this video. Topics such as the player count for Multiversus is already on the rise, tons of information about gameplay changes and the reasonings why those changes were made, and then of course additional news will be provided to us shortly. So let's start with the last one there, that last topic, right? Additional news coming shortly. So the official Multiversus Twitter account tweeted this out yesterday. They wanted to further discuss the combat refractor with a player first games, and at the end of the tweet that does say additional news shortly. Now, who remembers who's a Multiversus OG and remember when they'd always say soon or soonish? That we didn't even get that. We got shortly. Like, keep our eyes peeled for next week. We might be getting something. I don't want to raise expectations too high, but I don't know. One can hope for that new cinematic animated trailer that they've been working on or got in the works, whatever it is. Maybe that's next week. Who knows? But we got some additional news shortly, which is great. But in the meantime, why don't we talk about the rest of the news today? So this was actually really cool. They posted a whole bunch of information. So we're going to start off with the topic of improving clarity in the game. So yeah, I'll let you guys read this on screen if you feel like it. But the important things are, they kind of say that the Multiversus match, there's a lot of flashy moves and animations. There's explosions. There's a lot to look at during a match, right? There's a lot that can draw your eye away from wherever it might be. So Multiversus and player first games found it, from the player's perspective, it was a little challenging to track details of combat during the matches. So they ended up making a number of changes to improve the overall clarity of battle. So I thought that was really cool. And then they give an example of why or what they did to help improve that area. So here's a couple images. Here's the first image that we're going to go over. And this is of the open beta phase. This is the older characters. You notice how small they look? Does this look silly? Yeah, now let's compare that to the new one. I mean, we've already seen this. We've already seen the characters. They're enlarged, right? They're a lot bigger. But in my personal opinion, I absolutely 100% love this change. It is so much easier to follow along. When they did that ping test a week or two ago, it was so much easier to follow the action along just as a viewer. So that is so great. And now I can only imagine being a part of, actually playing the game and being able to follow things even much, with much more clarity. So here's the reasoning why they ended up enlarging the characters a little bit. But they basically kind of put it as it's you need to be able to quickly react to your opponents, seeing what they're up to. So having the larger characters really leads to improved readability. So I love that so much. I just told you guys my opinions on that. So it is tremendous stuff nonetheless. But characters being big, I don't think it's an issue. Now for something new coming to the game that we didn't have during the open beta, that would be dash attacks. Now dash attacks are for every single character in this little snippet that they told us about for dash attacks. Put it on screen, but it kind of boils down to every character gets this new move, and it's a way to give the players more flexibility and creative possibilities. You could use it to start a combo or end a combo, or just an additional way to play the game. And coming from a game, I'm a lifetime Smash fan, so having dash attacks just feels like natural. It just feels like it's something that should be there. Kind of felt like it's something that should have been there during the open beta. So I'm truly 1 bajillion% glad that they made this change to the game, because this definitely feels like an organic way to kind of, I don't know, just tie the game together. It's just something that should have been there. It wasn't, but now it is, and every character is going to have it, so that's incredibly cool. And I'll even show off a quick little clip. Here's something that they posted, so if you want to take a look at it, it's Iron Giant's dash attack, and he just looks like he's just kind of chilling. Just kind of like falls forward a little. It's so cool. I love the animation. I love everything about this. This looks so good. Just something as a simple little dash attack from Iron Giant, and boy does he looks a little bit bigger too, doesn't he? As every character was enlarged, but I don't think that's going to be an issue. But Iron Giant dash attack, every character is going to have a dash attack, so this looks pretty cool. I'm excited for it. Who else is excited for dash attacks? Next topic of conversation, parry time. So if you don't know what a parry is, luckily Multiversus does Well, explain that to us. So a parry is basically a high skill mechanic that gives you the player, it gives you a new defensive option. So if you utilize it properly, well, you're going to recover from the interaction a lot quicker than the opponent that's getting parried. So that allows you to follow up with something else a lot quicker than they can react to. So if you can master this ability, and Parry's been in many, many, many games over the years, so it's not like it's a new mechanic, but it's, again, kind of like dash attacks. It feels like something that's maybe should have been there, but again, even if it wasn't, it is now, so it's a much welcomed addition to the game. It's going to really change how players can, maybe you're getting your butt whooped and all of a sudden you pull out a parry and now you're on the offensive and you can get the upper hand. So this is a pretty big game changer. But again, it's not as simple as it might seem. It will take some time to get used to the timing and everything, but if you can pull it off, parries, like I said, they're going to be game changers. Now let's talk about character kits. This thing, I like what they came up with here. So the devs here basically say that every character received a kit tuning to improve the overall feel of attacks. So for example, if you're playing a Shaggy and you do his like little side special, he does his flying kick through the air, you want the second his move connects, you want to be able to kind of like make sure like you almost feel that move. You don't want to like have the move connect and then like a half a second, 1 second, 2 seconds later, then it registers in the game or something. Like the timing feels off from when it hits to when it actually registers, whatever that is. They're improving all of that. And we got an example of Harley's balloons. This is something that I guess replaced an old move. So Harley's balloons, I got the clip here real quick. But what we can see is Harley's balloons don't just, when she places them, they don't stay in place like they used to. They now float upwards. Now, I've seen a couple of people, I was not a Harley main in the slightest, but I've seen a couple of people's opinions on it. Basically, it kind of boiled down to, this is so much better for Harley because now combos can be a lot crazier. With the floating balloon, you can knock your opponent upwards and they're going to hit into it, and whatever happens from after that, it's going to be great for Harley players. So, I don't know, I am curious, if you are a Harley player, how do you feel about this change? From what I've heard, it looks fine. And there were a couple of people on the other, the flip side of the coin that were saying this doesn't make Harley as campy anymore, because she could just place the balloon. Then you got to try to avoid that the entire time. So I like that it now moves upwards a little bit, and it kind of, in a way, it rewards, your combo game if you can knock your opponent higher. It's a good reward. I like this change personally, but again, that's coming from somebody who didn't normally play as Harley, but if you played as her, let me know how you feel about the change. And now let's finish off with some tremendous news. If you're a fan of Multiversus, you'll like the news. I'm sure you might have heard of this, but for one, the player count on Multiversus is already rising, and the game's not even back on servers. Like, take a look at this headline, right? PS5 Multiversus players are up by 370%. Despite the game still being dead. The game, is it really dead if you got an increase of 370? I get what they're saying. The game's offline, so yeah, it's kind of dead. It's not dead, but it's not awake. It's kind of just zombieing around right now. But PS5 and PS4 players, the player count in April rose 370%, which is absolutely crazy. It just goes to show you there are so many people that are excited for this game coming back, and we even got some stats for Steam. Multiversus Susie provided this, so take a look at what she posted. We could see the player count in February, just a couple months ago, was at 88, which was actually 7%, not 7%, but 7 players. It rose, and it rose 8.6%, but then March, when they dropped the big news, 110 players, or 125% increased up to 198. And then in April for PC, 203 players. And that's just having a simple announcement of, hey, the game's coming back. People are excited. People are starting to come back. People are jumping in the lab, just doing whatever they feel like. And it's good. It's a good time all around. So the hype is starting to build. But I think these drip feeds, these little breadcrumbs that we keep getting, I guess we're getting a little bit more. We're getting a loaf, a slice of bread from the loaf. We need a little bit more. We want a little bit more on our plate. So hopefully Multiversus can deliver something massive. Again, maybe that's a new character reveal or the new animated trailer that they were working on. Whatever it is, hopefully they can drop something massive very soon because, we've been waiting a long time. And You know, we're just over a month away from the game coming out, if not a month away. I forget the 28th. What's today? 26th. Okay, yeah, a little over a month away for the game coming out, but it's coming out. Multiversus. Hopefully, they got something massive in store for us shortly.
It's so